And we are back, and what we're gonna be doing next is Might and Magic Duel of Champions. I've got my two best friends right next to me. We have Samuel, who's the live producer for the game, and we have Chase. Hello, Chase, my best friend from the other land, who is the player experience manager on the game. So what we're gonna do first, I'm not gonna lie here. I'm an absolute noob when it comes to card games, okay? I don't know anything about it. And so you guys are going to run me through it, and by the end of PAX, I'm going to be an expert. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Good. So let's start it off, Samuel. Tell me just a basic rundown of Might and Magic Duel of Champions.
Right, so Might and Magic Duel of Champions is probably one of the best collecting card game right now on the market. So it's a free-to-play, it's a fair-to-play. So, you know, there's no catch. You guys just create an account on champions.com. You log in, you get some, you know, packs, cards, and then you're ready to enter into action. So the action is really simple. Go on the battleground. So you have your deck of cards. The game is really a strategic game, so you need to really choose where you want to place your cards. You can move your cards or you can attack the opponent. So the concept is you need to attack the opponent, get his health point down to 0 before he does the same to you.
Got it. So I know, Chase, too, you play a lot of card games back when you were a kid, and now you're playing this. I mean, what is it like to have a game like this that can be compared to Magic the Gathering a lot? Like, what makes this different?
So the thing about Duel of Champions is that being a digital card game, there are a lot of things you can do with it that you can't do in a traditional physical card game. It's very counter-based, so the health deteriorates over time. You can regain. You can put poison counters. The leveling system used to be able to play cards is very different, and it's just something that you can't do in a physical game. So it's really cool to have it digital. If you want, we have the game loaded up here, and we can actually do a quick run-through of a game.
That works for me.
All right, let's get one going.
You can teach this noob what we're doing.
All right, so I'm going to load up one of the ranked duels here. You start out like you have your hand. I'm going to keep this, not keep a mulligan. At the beginning of every turn, you have your hero, and the whole gameplay is basically you're trying to kill the opponent's hero before they kill yours. So I'm going to level up my Might here. And if you look at one of these cards, this is a creature card. You have Might, Magic, and Destiny requirements. At the beginning of your turn, you're going to level up one of those with your hero. You'll see that at the top of the screen here. And then basically that allows you, that gives you the level requirement to be able to play the card. Now you also have your resources, which is like mana, but it's not, you know, in other card games where you can get screwed on not having enough mana to play. It increases one per turn, so it keeps it fair as far as like, you know, what kind of cards. So I'm going to play this Maniac here and put him down on the board. And you'll see that all the combat is done in rows here. So I'm going to be trying to attack through to the other side. And he's either going to put someone up here to put me on the defensive, or he's going to try and block the attack from my Maniac.
Yeah, so I guess that's something that's worth mentioning compared to you know, lots of other card games. Duel of Champions, the position of the cards, where you place your card, is really important. You see right now, Chase is blocking the attack possible from his opponent with his own Maniac, with his own creatures. So in order to be able to attack the opponent's hero, he will need to defeat that creature first.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so my opponent has decided to try and block my attack. You'll see that the Spring Spirit here has 4 health. I only have 2 attack on this creature, but I'm going to attack, and I'm going to play a nasty little Firebolt here to get rid of that. Boom, and now that's gone. I don't have any cards I can play with my resources, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn it back over. Another interesting mechanic that this game has are what we call event cards. So in every deck, each person has 8 event cards, and as the game plays, they're shuffled together. You'll see them down here, and they turn over every turn. And what they are, they're pretty much cards that either player can use during their turn. So the things on here, I can pay 3 resources, you know, and get +1 attack for my creatures based on certain conditions. Other ones have certain conditions like fortune cards cost 1 more resource to play during a game. So, you know, depending on when they come out, it can come out at a really inopportune time, or you can get the one that you need. I'm playing against a Sanctuary deck right now, so it looks like he threw out this Shenria Guard. He has some interesting mechanics there. Let's see. When the creature deals attack damage to a creature, your creature cannot attack and is immobilized until your next turn. That one's going to be a little bit nasty. So I'm going to go ahead and increase my Might again. And let's see what I can throw out here. So I'm not going to try and block that because that's just going to be a mess to deal with right now. So I'm going to toss. No, I am going to do that. I'm going to bring it out here.
How many different cards are there?
So right now we have over 400 cards in the game.
400?
Exactly.
And how do you get those? Like, how do you purchase them? Do you win them?
Well, I mean, there's wide variety to get new cards. So either by playing the game, so each time you play a rank duel, you get some gold. Even if you lose the game, you get some gold. So like that, you can purchase cards from all the or different extensions quickly actually. If you want to really speed up the process, you can also purchase the cards if you want.
That's
to.
what I would do.
Yeah.
Just because I would want to be the best, and I'm just gonna buy them all, if I can buy them all.
Yeah, you can try that. I think.
How much would that cost? Would that cost me a lot of money?
You'd probably buy a lot of box sets.
Okay.
Over time. But I mean, that is a nice thing about it. We'll talk more about that later. But it is completely free to play, so it's like you can just sit, grind out a bunch of cards, and it's actually not too difficult to do so. We're gonna drop some more cards down here. You'll see the gameplay really. So you start out, you're putting down a few creature cards, and it really starts to pick up over time. And I'm gonna try and build a wall against these guys over here. You'll see on the background here, we got some really cool backgrounds from the different factions that are being used. Sam will introduce some of the factions from the game in a little bit from the Might and Magic universe, but it makes the board look really nice. And compared to there's some other card games where they really try to focus on the graphic aspect, using cards as a way to manipulate sort of graphical representation going on. And I think that we really try to replicate that feeling of having an actual card game. Sitting down with your friends, playing the card. If you look at each one of these, this is a nice shiny. I really like the foil cards. But each one is hand-painted by our artists in Quebec City.
Wow.
So they're very detailed, very beautiful cards to play.
Yeah, the art that looks like goes into these is amazing.
Yeah, we really put a lot of time in the art. I mean, creating a card can take up to a week for one of our artists in Quebec. So we really spend a lot of time because we want to have the best looking game possible. Chase mentioned a couple of seconds ago, the different faction is playing. When we started the game, the creation of the game 2 years ago, one of the first things we wanted to do is, create a CCG with the Might and Magic universe, right?
Yep.
It's such a, interesting universe. There's, so much depth in that universe, so we wanted to do that. Currently, we have 5 different factions in the Might and Magic universe. So we have Inferno, which is kind of really rush type of decks. Haven, where it's really more kind of a slow-paced strategy game where it's really about healing and protection. Stronghold, where it's all those big rough guys, so you can really take out your opponent really quickly. And we have Sanctuary, which is all about placement and board control. So you can move the cards of your opponent around and really kind of take the board control or take the board advantage. And we also have Necropolis, which is kind of all about poisoning and playing with your graveyard.
So it looks like I'm getting my butt whooped a little bit over here against one of these Sanctuary decks. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of a basic walkthrough of the gameplay. You can see. You want to talk about the different types of creatures? So
yeah, I know you guys have a ton of different characters too. Let's get into some of the creatures that you guys do have. Maybe tell me some of your favorites.
Absolutely. So there's 3 different types of creatures. There are melee creatures, flying creatures, and shooter creatures. Melee creatures all sit in the front row here. Shooter creatures go in the back row, and flyer creatures can go anywhere. Now, mostly for flyer creatures and melee creatures, you have to attack the creature card in the first row on the other side, unless you're a shooter and you can attack front and back. So, like we were saying before, placement is very important. What kind of cards you play are very important. I'm gonna draw.
And this is my quick 15-minute walkthrough of the game. Now, if you're someone that's completely new to this, you download it. How long do you think it takes someone to kind of figure out the game? I mean, can a complete noob just jump right into it, or is it something that maybe have a friend teach you? Yeah, well, we have a pretty deep tutorial system. There is a single-player campaign for the game. It's very generous with golden seals. So when you first get into the game, if you're not ready to jump into online play, you can go through it, and it breaks down the game step by step
as you go through. So, by the time that you're done with the 6 initial missions, you've got a pretty good understanding of the game. But
you know everything about the game after those 6 missions. And I must say that we have a fantastic community as well. So I mean, if you're stuck, if you have any problem, any questions, you can jump into our forums, and we have tons of players. We have an amazing community just right there, ready to help you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I hate to use this term, but like they say, it's easy to learn but difficult to master. Yeah, slap on the wrist for that cliche, right?
So can you talk a little bit about this road to Paris? I've been to a ton of different events with you guys, and I've seen this. I don't know too much about it, but let's tell maybe people at home what it is.
Yeah, so competition is extremely important to us.
Mm-hmm.
And Road to Paris, we had a World Championship last year where we invited people to come out to DreamHack and compete for the World Championship, and this is taking things to the next level.
The next level, yes.
The next level for Duel of Champions, and we're sending 8 people to Paris this time to compete for the World Championship. And the road to Paris is basically like the different roads that you can get there. So one of those roads is the North American Live Championship. We just wrapped up our last North American tournament at Fan Expo Canada last week. And then the 4 winners of the live tournament in the U.S. are going to compete against each other to go to Paris. But you can also go to roadtoparis.com and register and compete in the online leaderboards.
So we do have a video that we can show.
Yeah,
that we can take it to the road to Paris.
Yeah.
So let's throw it to that video and take a look.
Hi, I'm Chase Strait, representing Duel of Champions at Kubla Khan. This weekend we're kicking off our Road to Paris International Tournament, where we're sending 8 finalists to Paris to crown a grand champion. The winner of this tournament is going to face 3 other live tournament winners for that spot to Paris, but if you can't make it to one of these, you can go to duelofchampions.com to download the game and get more info on how you can join in on the battleground.
1, 2, 3, Very exciting seeing all these new games. Duel of Champions, really fun game. After a few minutes, I understood really simple and quite addicting as well.
I like the fact that it's a free-to-play model. It's something that's really popular right now, and I think they're doing it the right way.
It is very playable. It is very colorful. It is engaging.
The reason I'd recommend this is because the game is really easy to play. It's really fast-paced.
And I can't wait to play online, because then I can start playing against people around the world and see how they think and what their strategies are too.
Oh, it's really a streamlined game. There's a lot of complexity to the cards, so they can add dynamics that you don't see in like Magic the Gathering and other similar games.
When I was playing against my second opponent, he had filled his board out against mine. We were tied at life points, and then I fireballed half of his board away, and that pretty much won me the match.
My strategy is small creatures and big spells, and just kind of try to survive until later, and then I take control of the game.
All right, ready?
Ready for this, Julian?
All right, good luck. Last night, I modified my deck to attack anywhere or do sweep or charge moves so that I could just empty the battlefield no matter where I put my creatures.
The strategy was to follow just the same lines of a faction, which was just defensive spells and healing spells, just to outlast the other opponent.
I ended up drawing a card that did 2 damage to all his creatures and kind of wiped most of his board at that point and won the game.
All right, gentlemen, any last words before we get this started?
I just want to say personally, I don't know if I'm more excited about me winning or you losing.
He started the trash talk already.
The third game was a little closer than I wanted it to be, but I finally pulled it out and got the sweep. I'm pretty excited to go over there and represent the United States and get a free trip to Paris and hopefully do well.
So now you got a few months before your next competition in Road to Paris. What are you going to do to prepare?
I'm just going to play test online. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll go in there and play with the Europeans. They have a pretty good developed metagame, and I'll just do my best to get ready.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You played well, and we'll see you again in September.
And we are back. I want to thank you so much, Chase and Samuel, for coming out here talking to us. I know we'll be talking to you guys a little bit more this weekend. Any last words that you want to say to the stream?
Oh, yeah. So you guys should come back tomorrow. I mean, you should watch all day, but come back tomorrow at 12:40 p.m. I'm going to be throwing down against Gabe, a.k.a. Mike Krahulik from Penny Arcade, who will be in the booth. Taking them on head-to-head. Also, if you want to play the game, you can head to the LAN area. It's on the computers there. We're going to be hosting a tournament there on Sunday from 1 to 3, and a tournament in the BYOC area from 3:30 to 6:30 on Saturday.
Awesome. And if you guys are at home, make sure you guys download the game. And I want to thank you guys once again. What we're going to do, we're going to be coming back to you guys at the next level for round 2. But before we do 2, we're going to go to a commercial break.